every day of my life. And so the second stop, though, was downtown. It was downtown Raleigh, North Carolina. And it was late. I don't know if midnight or past or whatever. And this dude from across the street saw me. And it was like one of those things, like he beelined to me. I'm talking about at a sprint, got right in my face. And of course, these kind of things, they had went somewhere. So it was just me. And this dude gets in my face. And like, I still think he was possessed kind of thing. 'Cause seriously, he was so angered by why I was there and just the name of Jesus. Yeah, and so he got nose to nose. And I'm a loving guy, but that was kind of weird for me. And I also like to throw hands, before Christ. And he ended up hocking a loogie and spit right between my eyes. And dude, I'm talking about, I about lost, God's grace, if I would not have been with other believers, I'd have probably punched him in the throat. I'm sorry, in front of his nose. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I probably would have got my flesh real quick because I wanted to. And I didn't. I wiped it, and I didn't say anything else to him. And he just walked away. He was cussing me.
All right, this is Into the Fray. I'm Austin.
I'm Robby.
We're going to start off with another warm-up.
All right.
So what is a piece of entertainment you have been enjoying lately?
A piece of entertainment I have been enjoying?
Yeah. Music, movies, whatever.
Yeah. I don't think I mentioned this last time. I don't know, I may have been on the podcast last time. The Chosen. Yeah, my wife and I, we flew. We can binge some stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, we don't do it very often at all just because of schedules and stuff like that. But typically a Sunday afternoon is my chill. Like, that's the one time I can throttle it down pretty the best of them. You know what I mean? Pretty quick. And so, we knocked that rascal out last Sunday. It was funny, man, because so many people had kind of told me about it. And then we watched it and we're like, wait, there's one season? Have you seen it?
Yeah, they're on season 3 now.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Season 1, I think, is on Netflix. Season 2...
No.
I watched some of it on YouTube, and then you can, like, buy it different places. And then season 3...
Are you pirating it? Is that what you're doing, Austin?
No. I'm not that good. I'm not that good to do
that.
It's
not in theaters yet. He's watching it.
That's how I watched it at first, was they had it on their app or whatever, and I was like, I don't know about that.
Yeah,
that kind of, I just was skeptical of the app.
I got you.
And so then I started seeing them post it on YouTube, and like they would have commentary up front, but then the full episode would be up there.
Huh.
I was like, oh yeah, I'll just skip the commentary and just watch the full episode. And I went through the first season, and the second season they just would post episodes every week, and I was like, dude, this is great. But then
that's crazy. Yeah, the whole streaming thing, I know it's a money thing and all and whatever, but it's just weird to me. Like, why would it be on YouTube and they just don't go ahead and put it on Netflix or whatever streaming
service? That's what I love about The Chosen is that they don't mind putting it on YouTube. Yeah. Like, they got so many more eyes doing that because, I mean, when it was on Netflix, it's buried under so much other stuff, and if your algorithm ain't tailored to it, you're going to miss it.
Yeah.
But then, like, if you can just type it up on YouTube, you can find it. They get tons of views. Mm-hmm. And then they also, because it's their YouTube channel, they can post whatever they want. And so Dallas Jenkins, he constantly is posting, like behind the scenes stuff. And then he'll have different people of, like, different versions of Christianity or whatever, like the Catholics. And then you have Baptist and then the Jew or whatever, talking about the decisions they made in the show, and like kind of debating some of the things. Yeah, and I was like, that's a cool. Like, I'm always interested in like the behind the scenes stuff of making movies, and so when I found out that he's like really thinking through how they're going to elaborate some of the stories of Jesus's life and try to paint the picture more full, that they're actually like doing good research on all that stuff, and that
I don't know,
it's quality.
Like got rapid fire questions, but man, dude, I was really like, because I had a few people tell me about it. They were like, "Oh, well, but you heard you didn't like it or whatever, or like stuff like that, movies like that, or shows like that, because it's not strictly the Bible." I'm like, listen, if you just went by the Bible, I mean, it would be like 5 minutes long stories. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, you have to, and going into it that it's not verbatim. I mean, they're embellishing. There's a lot of reading into and stuff like that. But one of the guys I was talking to about it, I said, I love, though, even he was telling me about it beforehand. And so I knew going into it, I was going to like it. Because I'm like, that's the thing. It's like we so, I don't know. A lot of times we read the scriptures and we kind of have this false perception, not just God, but Jesus, maybe even more so, as very just blah.
Yeah.
Or Paul was just stern and this little nerd kind of, I mean, it's like, wait, what? Like, so, if you think about Jesus laughing or telling jokes, or throwing some jabs at Peter after he, does something stupid, or dancing, it freaks people out. People are like, well, no, that's, my Jesus wouldn't do that. Well, I mean, he's fully human. Why wouldn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, he's giving us emotions and all those kind of things. So, yeah, it was great to see. And I love stuff like that because it makes you think deeper.
Yeah.
It's like, and we don't know, I mean, some of the backstory, kind of stuff. But I was very intrigued by it, man.
Oh, yeah.
Until it's conversations, like then people will follow up, be like, hey, did that really happen? Let's get our Bible out. And I'm like, man, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
I mean, we can joke and we can kind of just theoretically talk about stuff, but then eventually we go to the scriptures. What better thing to do? I mean, so, yeah, we love it.
Yeah, I like how they help connect some of those dots, because sometimes we have that American perspective of like we read things through our lens.
For sure.
And so like there's things going on in the Bible and we're just looking at it from like our vantage point, but then the show helps you, I guess, fill out that world and understand like the complexities of it, what's going on with like what Matthew would have been like with Rome and his connection to, or his disconnection to the Jews.
Yeah.
And then even the zealot, just like, I don't know, they just help paint some of the picture more of things that I've been trying to do, like through books and reading, of trying to better understand like the different characters in the Bible. And then they put a show out and they color the picture fully of all these different characters, and you're like, yes, thank you. I don't have to read a book.
Well, and two, I mean, I'm a visual person. I think a lot of people are. And so when you see that, and you do, a lot of the dynamics, even the stories that you've heard time and time again, or how some of the sayings of Jesus and the order, because we read the 4 Gospels and we kind of take them apart. We don't, you know what I mean? Like, we don't see them as one event, like when they happen on one day. Yeah. And so, I think it's great, man. And I'm like you, not that it's just speculation and like 3 or 4 guys sitting around a coffee, like, oh, I bet wouldn't this be cool if it happened this way? That's one thing. But if they did the research and stuff, I mean, I think that's awesome. So, it's cool.
Okay. What is the first movie you remember seeing in the theaters?
Ooh. Dude, I'm old. I don't know. Back in my day, Austin, they had like drive-in theater. No, they didn't. I have no idea. I'm just going to throw a shot just because it's so old. And I know I was at the movies, like E.T. Like, that's a gazillion years ago.
Never seen it.
Oh, yeah. See, if you were to watch it now, I mean, like back then in like 1980 or whenever it came out kind of thing, I mean, you would have thought like it was like Marvel ain't got nothing on it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, or all this multi-universe, like this is just out there, and the graphics and all that kind of. And now you look at it, it's like my 3-year-old could have done a better job. You know what I mean? With I don't know, crayon and paper. I don't know, but I don't. Maybe that. I don't know. I really have no idea.
Did you actually like the movie, or
did I like it?
Yeah.
Back then, yeah. I mean, it was, I guess, okay. Yeah. I was a kid, so.
Okay. I think
I would have been a really young kid at 1980. I don't know when the movie came out, Austin, but I'd have been 4 years old. So I'm just saying, like, you know.
I vaguely remember this, but it was the Rugrats in Paris movie, I think I remember seeing.
I mean, the reason I say sick because I know what it is. I've never really watched. But the fact that that's the first one you can think of just makes me feel that much older.
I remember being in Macon where my extended family lives, and my Aunt Dana taking me and my sister to go see it. And I think my sister says that it was actually like just the Rugrats movie, not the second one. Uh-huh. I don't remember the first one like that. But then the other one that I like really remember was Shark Tale.
Okay.
I went for my friend Bryce's birthday. That was, I think that was just it. He didn't have a party or anything. We just went and seen Shark Tale. Uh-huh. And that movie forever lives in my mind. That is so good.
So how rough guesstimate would you have been at the first movie? I'm just trying to get a little...
Oh, I have no idea.
Yeah. I mean, pretty double digits. I mean, 3-4 years old, something like that. Yeah.
And then Shark Tale would have had to been like, if I had to guess, like 7 or 8.
I got you. Wow. Just go ahead and YouTube, since we were talking about that earlier. E.T., you'll get like 2 seconds. You're like, what is this? Like, it's crazy.
All right. What is the last movie you remember seeing in theaters?
Oh.
I think we've maybe talked about it. If it's the one I'm thinking of.
Which one are we talking about?
Avatar.
I'm trying to think. That may have been the last time we went. Yeah, we haven't been in a bit, and that would have been actually end of last year, or over the break anyway, the holidays. Yeah, that was probably. I don't think we've been back since, so that would be it.
You didn't like that movie, right?
No, not. Even the first one. Yeah. I mean, I thought it was cool. I mean, it was different, kind of thing. And I'm just not a big remake. Like, I'm like, and I get, and sometimes like Top Gun for me, like the original was so awesome kind of thing.
Yeah.
I was maybe a teenager. I don't know if I was a teenager then when it came out, but it was. And then so ever how many years later, 30 or whatever years later, and they do, Top Gun 2, whatever it was, Maverick, it's like, man, this is just, you can't compare. You're going with that mindset, like, it's going to be trash. Like, I'm going to hate it. And you go in and it's better.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. And it's like, because that's rare, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I think usually when they do it, and it's crazy how they do that a lot. They'll bring something from 20, 30 years ago, and it's a whole different cast or whatever else. And it's like, man, you should just let that alone. Mm-hmm. So the Avatar, I kind of had a little bit of that feeling going into it.
Wow.
Yeah. How about you? Do you see a lot of movies?
Yeah.
Like actually go to the theater?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool.
We probably go once a month.
Okay.
The last one, was it the Wakanda Forever? No, it was that movie Megan.
With the doll.
Yeah.
I've seen the previews. Okay. Was it
weird? The worst movie.
Oh, that's so... See, that's the other thing.
I don't go to watch, I don't like slasher movies. They kind of bore me. But this one, it was like the AI type deal, and I was like, well, that's kind of interesting. Uh-huh. So we went, and there's a whole bunch of issues with the theater. Like, the manager, I keep having to come in and tell people where to sit.
Yeah. Because
they were sitting in the wrong seat. And
they had a sign
Valdosta.
They had a sign seat?
You when you book your ticket, because they got I don't know what it's called. They got the recliners.
See,
and so when you order a ticket,
there, I guess,
you order a ticket, you have a specific seat you're choosing.
Oh.
So you can choose wherever in the theater. You don't just go in there. And the problem is that day, no one sat in their assigned seat.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so there's all this moving around. But then the movie, I was really looking forward to it. I was like, maybe I'll get into the slasher type stuff. Mm-hmm. They didn't really show any of the killing. It was for a horror movie, mm-hmm. She would kill somebody, but it was just more implied that she killed somebody. Really? It never actually showed it. Huh. So I was like, well, that's not what I'm expecting.
Yeah.
And then I guess just the storyline, I was just like, it's not that great.
Did you say for the whole movie?
Yeah.
Have you ever gotten up and left during a movie?
No.
Never.
No, I've fallen asleep during movies. For the first few movie dates that me and Berlin went on, constantly falling asleep.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you do it at home as well?
I did when I started dating Berlin.
Dude.
I don't know. I just got to the point where I was like, I'm bored. I don't know. I think part of it had nothing to do with Berlin. It was more so I was just getting burned out with all the movies.
Berlin, if you're listening right now, what he is saying, attempting to say, is because of you, he is so comfortable and in that time of you guys together and that space, and you make him just feel such at ease that he can just drift off to sleep is what he's trying to say, not that he's bored or like.
What ended up happening was, I think it was the Wakanda Forever movie.
Yeah.
Maybe it was that, or maybe it was, no, I think it was Thor: Love and Thunder.
Okay.
She ended up falling asleep.
I gotcha.
So we both were like clunked out in the theater.
Oh, wow.
And that was a bad movie too. But Wakanda Forever, since I've mentioned that a good bit, it was great.
Yeah, we watched it, not the movies. That's another thing too. Not that I'm like this tightwad or whatever about going to the movies, but yeah, when you take a family of 5, it is crazy expensive, kind of thing. And I detest going and it being trash. And I've just spent $50 or $60, whatever it is, kind of thing. And I'm like, if I'd have waited 2 more weeks, we'd have streamed it. You know what I mean, or whatever. It's like,
oh yeah.
I don't know. So yeah, we don't go to a lot of movies. Now, if it's Carrie and I, we just go on dates or stuff like that. We do love going to movies.
Yeah.
But when you're taking the whole family, it's kind of.
It's gotten to the point where I really pay attention to some certain reviewers, and so if they say a movie's good, then I'm like, okay, like this is a movie you go to. Like John Wick 4.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's better than all the other 3.
Dude, I'm so ready for that one.
Yes.
Yeah. That's probably on our list to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife, she makes fun of me because I'm a background noise guy anyway. Like, I grew up, my mom, I don't know, I guess we all did. I got an older, younger sister, and we all had kind of box fans in our room, so it was the white noise. Mm-hmm. And so when my mom would come in the morning, it wouldn't be a kiss on the forehead, oh, wake up, honey, it was just cut off your box fan. And it was like an alarm clock, dude.
Yeah.
To this day, I'm that way. I'm a white noise person, so like my quiet, like whatever it is, like even studying or whatever else, I've usually got some background.
Yeah.
And so in TV, like I don't want something that distracts me, that I have to watch because I'm just watching, So like Carrie gets me because John Wick, now it's like on all the time, like they're replaying all of them. Yeah. Obviously, I think even the last couple of years, it's just on all the time. And so I have it on all the time. Carrie's like, how many times are you going to watch this? I'm like, I'm not really watching it, but I am. You know what I mean? I love it, dude. So I don't know.
Dude, that and Creed 3.
Oh, yeah. I heard that one as well.
Yeah.
Is it out yet or no?
In theaters, but not like,
I got you.
Past that. Yeah,
that's another one. Speaking of, they're doing sequels, and because eventually with John Wick, you're like, seriously, how many is this? Fast 5 or Fast and Furious or whatever kind of stuff? Because that just got ridiculous really quick. But John Wick really hasn't done that. I thought all of them were good, and the Creed, same thing.
Yeah,
I mean, I've been impressed, because the Rocky. I'm a Rocky guy. I loved them and stuff, but they threw some.
Yeah,
it was like so cool.
Oh yeah. All right.
Into the Fray, the movie review.
I'll probably get so many messages about that one, that one section of us just talking about movies, because I still get people talking to me about the Gladiator.
Oh yeah.
I have someone gave me a copy of Gladiator for me to watch, and I refused to watch it because they gave it to me. Man. I'm like, no, you really mess up there. I would have watched it.
Rebel at heart right there, man. No, I refuse to.
Our buddy Chase, he brought me 2 DVDs of some movies he's mentioned on the podcast.
Yeah.
I have no interest in watching them. They're also sitting on the shelf. But all right. So Christianity in the West has been largely referred to as evangelical. Kind of given the idea that our faith has been largely tied to this idea of sharing our faith with others. Yeah. But in recent years, sharing your faith with others has become maybe less of a priority.
Yes.
In the sense of, I don't know if you heard about this, but the Barna study back in 2019, they did this poll about people sharing their faith and how, I don't know, we're doing with the evangelism act. I don't know what word to put there. But almost 50% of millennials agreed with the statement that sharing your faith with someone of a different faith in hopes that they convert to yours is wrong. And I remember at the time, a lot of the podcasters and theologians and stuff talking about this were like, this is a red flag moment. Christianity in the West is in danger. This is a sign that we're going off track and we're going to see the end of the church. It's kind of like the idea they are putting out there. But then for me, like I'm thinking through this, I'm like, well, that's tough because I grew up in a very like evangelical, mission-minded church. Part of how my parents raised me were we were going out and doing block parties in the neighborhoods in Lakeland, and I grew up having to get on a golf cart and go down the streets handing out flyers and doing tracts and all that stuff. So sharing your faith was always like a big part of like how my parents raised me. And it was a big part of our church. We had, I think it was called Faith, where it's like this group of people in our church who would go out and just go up to random people's houses and share the gospel with them, which was always, as a kid, this is just how I've always thought. I was always like, but what if you like go to a house that's full of Christians? Like, how do you know which one's not Christian? How do you look at a house and
have a mark?
yeah. It's always where my mind went. But I grew up in an environment where sharing your faith was a huge priority. But then I'm also on this, in this space where a lot of the Christians I knew, we kind of started feeling a little bit more cautious about how we communicated our faith with others. It's that idea of like the younger generation rebels against the older generation, or they do a complete 180. Whatever the older generation did, we're going to do the opposite. And I kind of felt like that's maybe what the millennials were doing, is for whatever reasons, some good, some bad, they felt the desire or the need to do a 180 and rethink about how they're evangelizing and sharing the gospel with others. And I think part of that, maybe, I have no proof of this, but this is just my thoughts. Part of that maybe was we're in this like cancel culture season time in our country, and there's a lot of caution about how you engage with people of different perspectives, and there's trigger words that you got to watch out for, and we're in an age where you really need to be very nuanced about what you say to someone and careful with the words you use. And I think that with all of this, especially talking about like our country's history, with how our country was founded by Christians, but who maybe were very heavy-handed, and how they shared the gospel, and so it was like convert or die was the mentality. I wonder if the millennials were kind of they're learning about all our country's history, about how we shared faith back then, and then they're just like, I didn't like how my family immediately right out the gate when they meet someone, they're like, you're a sinner, you need Jesus. I wonder if it was kind of a rebellion against that. They're like, we're just going to say it's completely wrong to share your faith with someone in hopes that they convert.
Yeah. Now that's interesting. I would agree. And here's the thing, just, in my lifespan, and even, the 20 plus years of being a follower of Christ, but even before then, growing up in church gatherings kind of stuff, like how, my mom had me and my sisters in church every Sunday, church gatherings and stuff. And so, it took me 26 years to come to faith in Christ, but I saw, at least for, until 18 years or whatever in high school when I didn't stop going, I knew what was done. And so we learn and we see some things that at the time, it's kind of a hot methodology or whatever. And then afterwards you look at it, and I think the next generation, like you said, you look at it and you're like, man, that's not the best way to do it. That's not good at all. And so the pendulum swings completely to the other. Like, let's throw it all out.
Yeah.
And so I think that's always, or not maybe always, but it's definitely been the case, not just with the millennials, but I think in the last several decades kind of thing. I mean, one of the things I remember, even as a new believer, was, the gospel tracts.
Yep.
And people would leave them at pumps, and that was sharing your faith. So you get this little pack of 50, 100, whatever it was, kind of thing. Well, everybody pumps gas. So the next person that pumps gas is going to have this gospel tract, and they're just going to, the Holy Spirit's going to move them. I'm not making fun, but you know what I mean? But that was sharing your faith. Yeah. Well, hindsight on that, I mean, now again, if you do that, still awesome. Yeah. The Lord, if somebody picks it up, or only one person, for sure. But is that, the best way? Definitely not the only way. Yeah. The most effective way of sharing our faith. You know what I mean? But it is a way. Mm-hmm. I mean, kind of thing. So I think sometimes it's that, we see this as not being effective, so we just toss it. Yeah. But I agree. If I was your age or younger, and I don't want to speak for them because I'm obviously older, but nobody wants anything forced on them. Yeah. And I think you guys have the voice, especially with the different platforms, social media, whatever kind of thing, to express it. Yeah. That we and it's not just don't tell me to do it. If you tell me to do it, I'm not going to do it kind of mentality. Yeah. I think it's just we want to know. I have a question for you. Do you think in your generation and younger, it's more about truth? Is it true? Would that be the question? On the top of your mind, is it true? Or would it be more, is it relevant? Is it needed? Is it practical?
I kind of feel like the relevant of how does it make me feel? How does it apply to my life? Yeah, yeah. Is it changing my life? If it's not, let's get rid of it. Yeah. And I think that's been informing what we view as true. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think sometimes, for the older, and I'm not going to speak just, for my generation or even older kind of stuff, we kind of come with that hammer mentality a lot of it is true, therefore you should believe. You know what I mean? Yeah. And we don't, it's almost like we know that it's profitable, we know that it's practical, and all that, but we're just so coming hard at truth and almost maybe false perception of the younger generation. Well, they're just going to rebel against that, and it's subjective and all this kind of stuff. So they just want to know about practical, and I just want to prove it's true. Yeah. And I'm like you. I think it's us. Just, I'm speaking again for the older generation, just to know where people are at, and that those are issues. Yeah. And that yes, it's true, but they need to hear not only that it's true, but that it is needed. Yeah. It is practical. It is life transforming. And plus, a lot of them, if we can just be real blunt, I know one of the big hang-ups for me even coming to faith is I knew older generations that were in church gatherings that even had titles, that went out on those type of evangelistic or they served obviously within the church, but out in the community and stuff. And to this day, I don't know if they're saved. So I'm watching this, and now you're telling me this is life transforming. Well, what about him? What about her? And, I don't think I wanted if I was hanging out with them partying last night. I had to sleep in Sunday morning. They didn't. You know what I mean? I kind of like my gig better, So I think, it's, again, not only is it true, and obviously it is true, and we need to speak that, but I think it's that life transforming, practical space we've got to get into. Yeah. And not be afraid of.
And that's the conflicting part is I look at how my church environment was growing up, and a large part of me is that ain't me. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna go up to some random stranger's house and tell them about Jesus and ruin whatever lunch plans they had. If we are, I don't know, at the gas station or whatever, and somehow we get in a conversation and the opportunity presents itself, I'll take it. Yeah. But I'm not just gonna go roll up on somebody and force Jesus down. That's not my personality at all. But then I look at my parents and my boss and people who did that. Yeah. And they have tons of stories of people whose lives are radically changed. Yes. My dad is one of them. my boss and the pastor of the church I grew up in went to my dad's house and shared the gospel with him. And that's what changed my dad's life.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? Yeah. Like, it completely changed my dad's life to the point where it was part of why he got the job. He worked at the cabinet shop that I work at now. Yeah. I'm named after both of those guys. Those two men are like forever imprinted on my family because of them just going up to my dad's house one day and sharing the gospel. And I'm like, dang, I would never do that. But I definitely appreciate the people who feel that urgency so much so. And sometimes that's the thing that I wrestle with is like, I feel personally, I take my time a lot when it comes to getting to know people.
Yeah.
I cannot stand small talk. I would rather us go get coffee for an hour or two and me learn everything I can about your life.
Yeah.
And we do that for multiple weeks. And Jesus is going to come up eventually.
Yeah.
But I'm not pushing it like so hard.
Yeah.
But then sometimes I think about the reality of what we believe in. I'm like, there should be a sense of urgency.
For sure.
And so it's that balancing act of I want to not force it down someone's throat, but also don't want to sit on my hands and just not do anything either. Yeah. And so it's that constant tension of,
for sure,
let's get up and go and love people like radically and deeply. But like, I don't know, it's that balancing act.
Yeah, let me ask you, because I mean, obviously between the two of us, there's a huge age gap. But I was just thinking, so like my generation, and maybe before, a little even older than me, it was very, evangelistic, whether it was gospel tracts or just going door to door, knocking on. And I mean, it was not lacking from building relationships and stuff like that. But I mean, a lot of that, right then, kind of like we're going to plan. The church is going out, Sunday at 5 o'clock. And we're going to spread, the news all over the city or whatever kind of stuff. So it was very intentional in that regard. But I wonder, because I know there was a generation in between, and it is still the mindset of both older and younger, of not just being relational, like a relational evangelism. So it kind of moved from just going up to strangers and telling them about Jesus to I need to sit and build relationships to I don't really have to say anything. It's more let my life speak the gospel.
Yeah.
Is that... I'm just curious, like your generation and maybe even younger, is that still the mindset? Or maybe that was just in between yours and mine? I'm curious.
I definitely, I feel that of the let your life be the gospel. Which was, sometimes I'm confused on what generation I actually am a part of because reality is when I became a Christian, I immediately got mentors and hung out with older people.
Yeah.
But I also am like going to high school every day. And so it was like, I felt like I was in a bunch of different worlds and somehow I'm the mess that they came up with.
Yeah.
I remember my mom growing up saying like, she's more of an introvert and she was like, you need to show them Jesus by how you live your life. I become a Christian and I'm like, no, like we need to like, I was on that Mark Driscoll stuff. Like, we need to get out there and tell them they're rotten sinners. Yeah. And get into the guy who did the street preaching apologetics back in the day with Kirk Cameron.
I don't know.
He's got like it's an Irish accent or something like that. I don't remember what it was, but basically he'd walk you through the 10 Commandments.
Okay.
And he'd be like, all right, do you believe you're a good person? And the person would be like, yeah, I'm a good person. And he's like, okay, really? Well, have you ever lied before? And they'd be like, well, yeah, when I was a kid or whatever. And he's like, well, that's this commandment. You're a liar.
Yeah.
And he just go through the commandments, and that'd be his way of showing them that they're a dirty, rotten sinner. And then he preached the gospel to them. And he did this on I cannot remember his name. But he was really popular, and I had that immediately where I would go to the lunch tables and I'd do that whole skit.
Sure.
My friends were kind of caught off guard. They're like, what? Why? I thought we were just eating breakfast. So there's that urgency.
Yeah.
But then as I get older, I'm learning like I need to be more relational. And so then it went back to kind of what my mom had told me of, okay, show them by how you live your life. Are you a loving, would those people say you're a loving person? And I was like, well, no, because I started the conversation off with, you're going to hell. And so I had to like course correct. But then in that course correction, part of the struggle had been, well, I'm not sharing my faith at all. Like, if it could be months without someone knowing I'm a Christian, because I'm assuming that they know that the reason I'm paying for their meals all the time is because I'm that generous Christian guy. Reality is they don't know I'm a Christian because I never mention it.
Yeah.
And so then it was, I don't know, it's been like a ton of having to like flip-flopping back and like try to find that balance.
Yeah.
Which I will do forever.
Yeah. I think that's it. It's balance. Like, I'm amazed too. Like, so you see before Jesus, goes publicly with his ministry, he's still healing, like a leper here or there. And he's like, don't go tell anybody. Don't say anything. And it's almost like this, my time's not arrived, hasn't arrived yet, so don't spread it. And they can't help themselves. They still go and tell. You know what I mean? And then it's like afterwards, Jesus is, he's risen, and it's like go and tell, and they're sticking in their hometown of Jerusalem. So you kind of have this funny dynamic of the ones when he says don't go and tell. It's like, man, you changed my life, you healed me, you did this, I've got to tell somebody. But the flip side is the disciples, it's like, yeah, we're going to tell everybody that's just kind of around the block, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Although they've been told to go to Samaria and the ends of the earth, kind of thing. But I think it's within us of this balance, and that's the reason I bring that up, because obviously our lives are to be marked, by the love of Christ and the fruit of the Spirit. And I mean, Peter even says, in the midst of suffering, be ready. Be ready to give an answer for the hope within. And it's in the midst of suffering, people look at you and be like, man, how can you have joy? How can you have hope? How can you, in the midst of what you're going through? And so you should be able to give an answer. So obviously your life should reflect. But the reason I ask is because there was this mindset of, I don't really have to say why.
Yeah.
Verbally, let my life just show. And that was always odd to me, though, even as a new believer, because I thought, well, every one of the Gospels, Acts, Peter, I mean, over and over again, we're given this commission to go, and it's good news, which means it's good news. It's spoken. It's something to be heralded, to be told. It's not something you do. It's something that's been done for you. And like, my life can't, my life shows the fruit that I've received the good news. That God's radically transformed me. But people need to understand why. Because there's a lot of people, if we're just honest, who don't even believe in God, who the world would look at a lot and be like, man, they're good folk. I give you a shirt off the back. Great causes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they're stand-up people, speak out against injustices and things of that nature. So we've got to be able to like verbalize, well, why am I different? Why don't, you know what I mean? Like, what's changed in my life? I was this way and now I'm this way. I've got to be able to express it, not just on that side, but it is a balance.
Yeah.
And it's a hard thing.
Yeah. It makes me think about the that passage in Romans where it says, how will they know if you do not preach and all that stuff of, we have to use our words. And I think part of it is like, we need to get better at the tone. Of my biggest struggle for a while was my tone and how I talk to people. Of immediately, it could come off as condemning or I'm better than. And that was never my intention. My intention was like, yo, I'm a dirty, rotten sinner. I realize it. I'm totally depraved. I need Jesus, and I want to give you that same Jesus. But then my tone was so off that a lot of people were kind of just turned off by it. And they're like, I don't really know if I want to be around you. And then when I did this work of trying to become a more loving person and show it by my actions, that's when I started seeing actual fruit of like my friends ended up bringing the conversations to me. I didn't even have to start them, which was a huge blessing because I remember, I don't know if you were like this. We prioritize evangelism so much in the church I grew up in that it was constantly a question of how many people have you led to Jesus this week?
It becomes notches on the belt. Yeah.
And so especially when I became a Christian, I'm constantly like getting asked this question. I'm like, I haven't led anybody to Jesus this week. I gotta like get the number up, and I'm getting anxious.
As if it's of you.
Yeah.
You know, like I've got to do this.
I'm already like a socially anxious person.
Yeah.
You put that pressure on someone.
Sure.
I gotta make sure people's lives are being changed week in and week out. You're like, you get exhausted. But then that's where I think that relational element came in was one, realizing there's that passage in the Bible that talks about how Apollos planted, Paul watered, or whatever. Yeah. But the Spirit is ultimately the one who does the work.
That's right.
He's the one who's going to bring the growth.
Yeah.
That was framed because then I was like, okay, I'm sharing my faith. So I know I'm planning. Now, what happens after that, I'm not in control of. I can't force someone into the sinner's prayer.
Yeah.
I can't force them to change overnight either.
Yeah. And
so I need to step back. My boss always said it when I first started. You do the work and the work will take care of you. If you do good quality work, you don't have to worry about if someone's going to buy it or the paycheck or whatever. Because you did the good quality work, the work will take care of you. It'll feed your family.
Yeah.
You don't got to worry.
Yeah.
And I think the same applies for sharing the gospel. If you do the work of, you make sure you verbally share the gospel, but you also do it in that tone of love that it talks about in 1 Corinthians 2, then I think the work's going to take care of you. You don't need to put all that stress on you that you're going to have to change someone.
Yeah. No, and again, for me, it's that beautiful balance, and again, keyword balance, of God is absolutely sovereign. He is absolutely in control. And so then people will, obviously on different ends of the spectrum, we won't get into all of it, then why pray or why share your faith? Because either God's going to save them or he's not. So what? But you think about it, I mean, prayer or you sharing your faith is the means by which that individual hears the gospel, i.e. what you said in Romans 10, what Paul says. I mean, how can they hear unless there's a preacher? I mean, you the reason you're saved is because somebody shared the gospel with you or you read it. If you just open the Bible kind of thing. So it comes through another, kind of thing. So it's really important. But I was thinking too, though, Austin, it's I don't want us to come off as, okay, like if your church or you are very, man, I share the gospel immediately. That's awesome. Like I remember
God.
Huh?
I said thank God.
For sure. Like I remember my very first, one of my first classes at seminary was an evangelism class, which was awesome. I loved it, learning. But I knew, okay, well, what's going to be some of the course requirement? You have to share your faith with like X number of people. And man, I was a new believer. And here I am, and it even got further in the requirement. It was, they could not all be strangers. Some of them had to be people that you already knew and had a relationship with, and then you had to share it with complete strangers. So it was just kind of this wide range spectrum. So you couldn't do just one or the other kind of thing. And I thought, oh dear Lord, how am I going to do this? People, and it was crazy because it was the people that I already knew was the hardest. Even as a new believer, it was like, man, so. And then what was crazy, and just praise God, the very first one that I contacted, buddy of mine, hunted and fished and just partied and everything else before Christ, came to know the Lord through me sharing my faith through that class, which seemed very rigid and mechanical. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you got to share your faith, kind of thing. And yet God blessed it, you know what I mean? And there's tons of fruit from it. So yeah, I mean, if that's you, keep rocking it. You know what I mean? Like, don't stop. But there's a lot to be said to the building the relationship, because you mentioned the sinner's prayer, and we don't have to get into that a bunch, but it drives me bananas. Yeah, I mean, you know what I mean? Because who wouldn't want Jesus in your heart, or Superman, or if you're 4 or 6 years, you know what I mean? Like, well, part of the relational, I think even part of the discipleship, and I understand the dynamic or the difference in, but the teaching, even for me, some of the teaching begins before they even come to faith in Christ, which involves asking questions. I love how it will say over and over again, Paul reasoned with them. Like, he didn't just yell at them. Yeah. He didn't hook, and again, Jesus sometimes, Paul sometimes, obviously we sometimes. You meet somebody on the street, bam, share the gospel, God does what God does, whatever the fruit is.
Tomlinson did that. we were meeting together for maybe a couple months at the least before I became a Christian.
Yeah.
And it was just him asking simple questions every now and then. Like he would take me to Subway and he'd be like, so like what's your plans for the future? And then he'd ask me about my relationship with the church that I was in and like, why don't you come to youth? And like slowly he was like chipping away. Now I grew up in church. He knew my family very well.
Yeah.
I assumed that he assumed that I was a Christian.
Yeah.
Because I was there for everything. The only thing I wasn't doing was I wasn't going to youth group because I didn't like it. But then Kobe, he did that relational thing, which was mind-blowing to me because in our very mission-minded church, we didn't have people really like spending time together with others like that. It was very like, go share the gospel, all right, that's it.
Yeah.
Kobe comes in and he just like keeps sharing the gospel with you. And it was like, he's going to build a relationship with you. And the entire time he's going to share the gospel with you, but he's going to get to know you. Yes. You're going to get involved in his life. You're going to come to his house. You're going to hang out there. Like, you're going to be a part of his family. And that was the thing that like broke through for me was, I think the thing that I took from that was a lot of the people I found myself becoming friends with in high school and in later years, we all felt this, like, I think most people feel this way, but I think the people I had surrounded myself with were maybe a little bit more aware of that, of we're constantly like observing our own selves and like, wow, we are very like, we need love. We need someone to tell us that they care about us.
Yes.
And so we're trying to fill that void. And Kobe came in and was like, yo, Jesus can fill that void. And I'm going to show you that by how I'm going to treat you. And so then I think because of that, that's why I ended up doing ministry the way I've done it, is very relational, very long, and the person is going to have lots of long conversations with me. But I don't know, it's trying to fill that void of, hey, I'm going to love you in a way that I believe Jesus is going to love you, which is, it's going to be patient, it's going to endure, it's going to be awkward at times, but like, I really believe in this, and so I'm going to like endure through it. And
well, even through the relational aspect, or like I mentioned with Paul, reasoning, so you're having conversations, you're pouring into their life, and you're hearing their heart. And you mentioned caring. I mean, that's just it, though. I mean, because that person, whether they believe what you believe or not, they can get a sense that you actually care about them.
Yeah.
And you're not just a notch in the belt or somebody they're going to talk about because you reject it. You know what I mean? They're just going to cast you off and condemn you, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, you actually care for them as a human being. You know what I mean? Like, regardless. And so, I mean, that's life 101. We should be treating everyone. You know what I mean? But the other thing, too, is just, a lot of that is when you're asking those questions, and even like I'm sure with him, he's breaking down some barriers, but he's also like what's beneath the surface of some of it, because a lot of people, I mean, we're quick and now hear me again. I love that it's the power of God. You know what I mean? The gospel, we are not to be ashamed of. It's for everybody, and so we should share quickly, like you said, intentionally, and all those things. But sometimes we kind of need to hear what their heart is and some of the underlying, beneath the surface issues, so that we can speak. Again, we're not manipulating or changing, the message, but we're just getting at, what they're going through.
Yeah.
So it is the truth, because the gospel does impact every aspect and meets every need. If we truly believe that about God, then I need to know what that is, so I can kind of speak into it, because eventually you're going to want to talk about that.
Yeah.
Hey, if I believe this, is God going to, change this or help this or whatever? And two, some of it's smoke screen stuff. I mean, we know that. I love The Woman by the Well. I mean, everybody always, she's a smoke screen. Maybe. I'm not real sure if some of it was smoke screen or not, I mean, she's at first like, what are you, a man talking to me this time of the day? Oh, you're a Jew. I'm a Samaritan. Oh, this kind of thing. Yeah, maybe, but maybe she's asking like real questions. Maybe it's she's kind of keeping him at a distance. I don't know.
Your sermon on that from a few months ago.
Yeah.
That I'd never heard someone break that one down.
Yeah.
Of where you talk about how we always hear that story and Jesus is like, you've had multiple husbands, and we always think, well, she gets around.
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, culturally, like maybe it's has to do more with the circumstances of why that's why she's had so many husbands.
Yeah.
Of they divorced her after so long because she can't provide kids, maybe, or all that stuff. And I was like, what? But that it kind of goes back to the chosen thing. Like it adds color to the story. Yeah. And I think when we share the gospel, kind of getting at what you're saying, is when you take time to get to know someone and you patiently listen, you're kind of filling out that picture of how the good news is actually going to penetrate their lives when it does.
Yeah.
And you'll see, like you said, you'll get to see the actual change.
Yeah.
I know you. I don't know if it was during seminary, but I'm pretty sure it was you.
Okay.
You used to tell me these stories about how you'd have to preach on the street or something like that, and you'd actually get name called. I think someone tried to fight you.
Yeah, I got spit like man to man in my face. It was the nastiest thing anybody's ever done to me.
Okay.
Like to spit like hock a loogie in your face.
Yeah.
It's gross.
So can we talk about? I think that's part of evangelism that a lot of us struggle with. Of how are people going to respond?
Sure.
And that is one of the worst things I've ever like.
I
know there's way more, but like,
sure, yeah. This is my worst.
People,
which is
that'd be.
Yeah.
I think common people over here's worst fear is what if they hock a loogie in my face too? Yeah. Like how do you deal with that type of response?
For me, like just to kind of set it up, try and be real quick about it. Like so when I got to seminary again now, so I've already Carrie and I are married. We've already got 2 kids. I'm 26 plus years old. You know what I mean? So I've lived life a lot, but I'm even though I grew up in the church setting kind of thing, like I'm an idiot. Like I really am. I'm raw. I'm green as a believer, but I am passionate. You talking about wanting to tell, man? Sign me up. Like, what's the? People would say I'm even now like kind of this adrenaline. Maybe so. Like I do love thrill and stuff like that, and there's nothing like following Jesus. But then, like let's do it, whatever. And so God sovereignly and comically, I think, got me attached with a couple of guys who were hardcore. I mean, they loved the Lord and they were bold in sharing. And they were like, let's come out Saturday night kind of thing with us. I was like, sweet. And so we did some pit stops at places or whatever. It was pretty comfortable for me anyway, even in that setting. But then we get, one of the places we went is we would stop and it was just dark, surrounded by woods, and they'd pop the trunk and get pizzas out, and hundreds of people would come out of the woods, homeless individuals. And we wouldn't even share our faith per se. We'd give them pizza, water, and just talk to them as humans. And they, conversations then led to the why we're doing it, kind of thing. That was awesome. So that was like, man, I do this every day of my life. And so the second stop though was downtown. It was downtown Raleigh, North Carolina, and it was late. I don't know, midnight or past or whatever. And this dude from across the street saw me. And it was like one of those things, like he beelined to me. I'm talking about at a sprint, got right in my face. And of course, these guys who are much larger than me and much more bold, and I wouldn't mind walking in an alley with them kind of thing. They had went somewhere, so it was just me. And this dude gets in my face. And like, I still think he was possessed kind of thing. Seriously, he was so angered by why I was there and just the name of Jesus. Yeah, and so he got nose to nose. And I'm a loving guy, but that was kind of weird for me. And I also like to throw hands, before Christ. And he ended up hocking a loogie and spit right between my eyes. And dude, I'm talking about, I about lost, God's grace, if I would not have been with other believers, I'd have probably punched him in the throat. I probably broke his nose. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I probably would have got my flesh real quick because I wanted to. And I didn't. I wiped it, and I didn't say anything else to him. And he just walked away. and he was cussing the whole time when he walked off. And I tell that story because I felt so like from the homeless spiritual high to then an all-time low, like I'm never doing this crap again. I'm done. Like this is ridiculous. To us driving up to a recovery residence, and I got to sit down and have like an hour and a half conversation with one guy who ended up giving his life to Christ then. And it was just like, if I'd have stopped or went home or whatever else, would that guy have gotten saved that night? Is God not saved? I'm sure I'd have missed it though. And how that impacted me 20, 30, whatever years later, the rest of my life. You know what I mean? Like, so it's not easy because you're going to have those moments where people's going to ask you something and you're going to feel like an idiot, or they're going to respond, and we're so worried today about offending people. You know what I mean? Because they believe something else or whatever kind of thing, or you don't feel like you don't have your inadequacy. You don't feel like you have all the answers, and so there's going to be that just fear of But dude, I just thought about it. If you and I and our families were like on a vacation, we were at the beach, and let's say, now if y'all don't know Austin, he's this robust athletic specimen. Say, Austin, you're out there swimming, you're by yourself kind of thing, but you don't realize the tide, the undercurrent is as strong as it is. You catch a cramp or whatever, and you go under. And I go out there and, rescue you kind of thing. You don't think you tell, like, you come home that next week and your mom and dad's like, hey, how was the trip, Austin? You'd be like, it's okay. Be like, anything interesting, exciting happen? No, not really. Of course you're telling. Why? Yeah. Because somebody saved your life.
Yeah.
All right. And again, like, it's one of those things, like, if Christ has really forgiven us of all of our sins, made us new, eternity, the assurance and the hope of eternity is secure because of who he is and who I am in him. How can I not tell somebody? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I think it gets back to you opened up with it. We know, but if we really believe that, there would be more of a sense of urgency and intentionality.
Yeah.
In the same breath, building a relationship, all those things that we talked about too. It's not one or the other.
Oh yeah.
But we would not just sit back and be like, okay, yeah, God wants to save them, he'll save them.
Mm-hmm. I think that's the challenging part of Jesus's message of we kind of split the world up into there's introverts and extroverts, mm-hmm. and I think there's a lot of a lot of us live in our comfort zones, and so we go about our days and we have our routines and we keep our routines established and whatever. We only talk to the people that we're used to talking to. We don't, mm-hmm. and there's like that point where at a certain age where you stop making new friends, you stop inviting people over to your house. You have your people, and if they fall out of your life, then that's what happens. But you never really add anyone new into your life. Mm-hmm. That is a scary, I don't know, thought to me, because I remember becoming a Christian at 13, 14, whatever it was, in 8th grade, and I'm like a very shy kid.
Yeah.
But Jesus' message rocked me so hard that I was like, "How? There's no other option. Like, you have to share your faith. You have to get over this. Like, you are on your way to hell, and Jesus had grace and mercy and love on you, and he came and he sent you Kobe Tomlinson. Yeah. Like, he had so many other kids, better kids that he could have spent time with, and he chose to like come over to me, who wasn't even in his youth group." And he spends all that time with me and money for like buying me Subway. But then I get saved and I'm like, I'm looking around at my middle school and then my high school. And I'm like, there's no way I can just not tell people about this. Like, they're all going to the same place I was going. Yeah. And someone threw me the lifeline. I've got to let people know there's a lifeline at the least. Mm. And so talking to Chase, it was me, him, and Ryan talking one day, and somehow we got onto the topic of me greeting people on Sunday mornings. Okay. Chase is like, dude, that's That's the thing that's always stood out to me about you, is that you go out of your way and you talk to people and you make them feel welcome and at home. And he was like, why do you do that? I'm like, well, it's not easy. Like, talk to Ryan. Ryan knew me before all this. Yeah. I did not like talking to people. It scared the crap out of me. Like, I was willing to fail multiple grades because I did not want to tell the teacher that I knew the answers. Growing up in Sunday school, the teachers never called on me to answer the questions because I wouldn't speak. So they were just like, well, we'll just give up. Go to his best friend. He's more the extrovert. But Jesus changed my life so much that it made getting to know people and stepping out of the comfort zone so worth it.
Yeah.
Because there's moments where I'm like, yeah, I did the sinner's prayer thing with people, or I shared the gospel with people. But seeing someone's life like radically changed, I've still yet to see that, which is a big no-no where I came from. But I don't think any of the work I've done was meaningless.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I'm 10 years from when I became a Christian, or a little over that. And all those same people I still have connections with, and we're still having those same conversations, and we're still like getting over hurdles. And I'm like, dude, that was worth it. Now, 8th grade Austin before Jesus, he would have never talked to any of those people. He would have stayed in his little corner in the classroom and just like got by, and God knows where he would have been by now. But because of Jesus, he had me start a Bible study. I had never read the Bible all the way through. I didn't know what I was talking about every Thursday morning at 6:30 a.m., which is a miracle that 30 kids came to that Bible study. But it was all because Jesus, it was so shocking to me that someone cared about me that much that they would spend any time on me. And so when Jesus does, it was like, it's not an option to be quiet about this. It's not an option to live in your comfort zone and say, well, they didn't reach out to me first. Yeah. It was, dude, there's missionaries across the world risking their life for this news that we have, that Jesus loves you and is willing to die for you, and he can change your life. But we're scared to talk to someone. For me, that was just so convicting, because then there's the cost of having to get over my introvert nature of being shy and all that stuff. It was like, well, Nik Ripken, who wrote The Insanity of God, he's willing to go over to like Muslim countries and risk his life. And I remember reading Tortured by Christ early on. I'm like reading these missionary stories. I'm like, we ain't there, but like I can at least do the same thing they're doing and not have to deal with the same persecution. There's no excuse why I shouldn't be doing that.
No. And that's the thing, is like, and just being a follower of Christ in general. I mean, one of the things I've learned is you just get comfortable at being uncomfortable in yourself. You know what I mean? Because God's going to stretch you.
Yes.
I mean, it just is. That's how you grow. And you know this in life in general, but in our faith, I mean, I trust God. And okay, but you can't just be complacent and sit there and just, he's going to stretch you in ways.
You struggled speaking at first, right? Like you'd get sick.
I dropped probably a half a dozen classes at least. I changed my major one time in college. I dropped half a dozen classes in college if it had any type of speaking engagement, any type. I mean, I was that afraid. And the crazy thing is like, I was the guy that was having the parties and stuff. And again, this is pre-Christ. But you know what I mean? Like, so it wasn't like I was a social, an introvert, and nothing against that at all. But it wasn't me. But it was the fear of, there was a lot of insecurities anyway about speaking. And so I don't care if it was like a 5-minute group, whatever. If it involved speaking, I was out. I mean, I would change a major and change the rest of my life for it to avoid it.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm a pastor and preacher and all this kind of fun stuff. And still get uncomfortable sometimes. even about speaking kind of thing. I get intimidated. I let the fear of man sometimes creep in. If I hear so-and-so is going to be here or listen to this and I got to step my A game up. You know what I mean? Like, we all battle that stuff. But, yeah, God's going to stretch you in. But the thing is, like I mentioned, all those commands to preach, to share, to make disciples, it was not just for the disciples then. It wasn't for the inner 3 or the 12 or the 120. It's for us.
Yeah.
And it's not for people with titles and get paid and do it for a living or whatever else. I mean, it's a command. But, I mean, that command comes with, it's an invitation to trust Him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I've had to repent a lot of that sometimes of just and again, not being, like you said to begin with, the balance of, okay, I got to share my, put this on my agenda for the year. I'm going to share, 120 times or whatever. And if you do that, that's awesome. But then it gets forced and mechanical and stuff like that, maybe. But if I look back at my life in the last year, I haven't shared my faith one time. There's probably a problem there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, too. So, I mean, I think it's that. So, yeah, I think it's a healthy evaluation because, again, and my thing is, having the Spirit inside, there should be conviction about that. I mean, there should. You should hear that, and it's not judgy. It's just, hey, you're right, it's conviction kind of thing. And two, the intimacy, I think those are hand in hand because it goes so far beyond just personalities or whatever else, or even, evangelism as a spiritual gift. It's just intimacy with the Father.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want to tell people about my wife, and I love her to death.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My kids. You're not going to be around me very long. I don't care if we're fishing or, you and I kayaking or going to a movie or whatever.
Yeah.
My wife and kids are going to come up pretty soon. Why? Because I love them and we have this relationship. How can I spend a year with you and not tell you about my Jesus, my best friend? You know what I mean? Like, it would just be insane.